Hello, my wonderful student. You're welcome to another class with Mr. Olukorede. I hope you guys are doing fine. All right, today we are going to continue from where we stopped our discussion on mensuration. Okay, but before we start, I want you to invite your friends, let them know the class is about starting. And don't forget, as you are joining the class, make sure you say hi to everyone. And don't forget to tap the like button. If today is your first time coming across this video, you are especially welcome. I want to encourage you to click on the subscription button and notification button so that whenever you're on here, you will be duly notified. Okay, so please get your writing materials ready, your pen, your calculator, your photograph table, get everything ready before we commence the class. Thank you very much. All right, okay. Yes, we have to work with time. Okay, now let's look at the first question here. A bucket is 20 centimeter in diameter at open and 12 centimeter in diameter at bottom and 16 centimeter deep. Now, to what depth would the bucket fill a cylindrical tin 28 centimeter in diameter? Okay, so now the question is talking about a bucket. A bucket is a frustum. Okay, a frustum is a fraction of a cone. All right, so once you cut a cone, you cut the head of a cone, the leftover is what we call the frustum. All right, okay, so here we have the bucket. Okay, now this is the bucket. Now here we are given that the diameter of this open here is 20 centimeter. Okay, so now the diameter is 20 centimeter, and why that of the bottom is what? 12 centimeter. So 12 centimeter. Okay, so we can determine the radius. So we have r equals to the diameter over 2. That gives us the radius. So we have r equals to 20 over 2, and that's 10. So the radius here is what? Is 10 centimeters. So we have 10 centimeter here. All right. The same thing also applies to this bottom. R equals to D over 2. And that is R equals to what? 12 over 2. And that is 6. Okay, so the radius here is 6 centimeter. So we have 6 centimeter here. 6 centimeter. Okay, in the question, we're also given the depth of the bucket. Now, 16 centimeter deep. So the depth here is 16 centimeters. So we have 16 centimeter here. Okay. All right. Now, the first thing to do is to get the volume of the frustum. So how do we get the volume of the frustum? Now, just like I rightly said, a frustum is a fraction of a cone. So I'm going to make a complete cone now. Now let's do that. The complete cone, we have this. So this is the complete cone. This is the height of the smaller cone. Okay, so let's represent that with h. So we have this to be h. All right. Okay. Now from here to here now is going to be the height of the bigger cone. Now, the height, let's see, capital letter H will be, now from here to here is 16. From here to here is H. So that means from here to here will be H plus 16. So that gives us the height of the bigger cone. And the smaller cone has a height of H. All right, now, so what are we going to do now? We need to get this height, the height of the smaller cone. So we are going to be making use of principle of similar triangles. Okay, so now let's look at the triangle here. We have a right angle triangle here. Okay, so we have it this way. So here is 10 and here is 6. Okay, 6 centimeter. Here is H, while here is 16. All right, so now we have two triangles here, right angle triangle. We have the big right angle triangle, you can see that, and the smaller one. Okay, so we need to find the corresponding side. Now, this side here of the bigger triangle corresponds to the side here of the smaller triangle. I hope you understand that. So we have 10 corresponds to 6. Okay. Now, also, the side of the bigger triangle, which is what? 16 plus H, or H plus 16, corresponds to the side of the smaller triangle, this side. Okay, so we have 16 plus H over H. All right, so from here we can cross multiply. So let's cross multiply, or we'll first simplify this before we cross multiply. Now this is the same thing as 2 goes here is 5, 2 goes here is 3. Okay, so we have 5 over 3 equals to 16 plus H over H. So we can cross multiply now. So we have H times 5, we have 5H equals to, now 3 multiplies everything we have here. So let's put this in brackets, plus H. Okay, so we have 5H equals to, now 3 times 16, that is 48, plus 3 times H, that is 3H. Okay. Now let's continue from here. Okay. Let me clean this. All right. Sorry, my body is small. Okay. So now we are going to transpose this. We transpose 3H. So we have 5H minus 3H equals to 48. Okay. So now this gives us what? 2H equals to 48. And H equals to 48 over 2. So H is what? H is 24 centimeter. So we have this now to be, this is 24 centimeter. Okay, and the height here is what? That is our H will be 24 plus 16. That gives us 40 centimeter. Okay, so we already know the height of the bigger cone and the height of the smaller cone. Good. So we can now go ahead and find the volume of the frustum. The volume of this frustum. Now let's get the volume of the frustum. Now before we continue, I want to be sure you are hearing me. Okay, are you hearing me? So I want to be sure that you can hear me. All right, so I want you to indicate if you can hear me. All right. Okay, all right, thank you. Yes. I just want to be sure that you're hearing me. All right, now let's move on. So what's the next thing to do here? We write out the formula for calculating volume of the frustum. Now we have volume be equals to pi over 3 open bracket r square h minus r square h. Now this is the formula for calculating volume of a frustum. Now how do we arrive here? Now if you want to get volume of a frustum, we say the volume of the whole cone, the bigger cone, minus the volume of the smaller cone. All right, so we have this. When you use this to multiply this, we have volume of the bigger cone. And when you use this to multiply this, you have volume of the smaller cone. So once you subtract, okay, so that gives you the volume of the frustum. So we just factor out pi over 3. Okay, so now can we plug in the values of r, h, small r, and the small h to get the volume? So we have pi over 3. Now we have the radius to be 10. We have 10 square times h, that's 40. So minus r square, radius, more radius, that's 6. We have 6 square times the height. We have gotten that to be 24. We have 24. Okay. So now we have pi over 3. Now when you square this, that is 100. So, and that gives you 4,000. So 100, 10 times 10 is 100, times 40 is 4,000 minus. Now this is going to be 36. 6 times is 36. We have 36 times 24. Okay, so what do we have when you do the multiplication? Can you drop that in the comment section? 36 times 24. What's your answer? Okay, so now I hope you drop your answer in the comment section. All right, so now this is, now I'm rewriting this, that's pi over 3, 4,000 minus. So when you multiply this, what do you have? I want to believe you dropped that. That is 8,600 and 864. Okay, so that's what we have. Okay, so then now when you subtract, we have pi over 3, and that gives you what? 3,136. So that's what you have. 3,136. Okay, so now this is going to be the volume of the frustum. Cube, centimeter cube. Now let's read further. Now the question now says, to what depth will the bucket fill a cylindrical tin of this diameter 28 centimeter? And that means the liquid pour inside this bucket is pour inside a cylinder, okay, which diameter is 28 centimeter. So we need to get the height of that cylinder. So how do we do that? Okay, so let's take note of the volume. This is the volume of liquid in the bucket. That is pi over 3, 3,136. Okay, centimeter cube. So let's take note of this. Now the volume here is going to be equal to the volume of the cylinder. All right. So that's going to be equal to volume of cylinder. So now let us write out the formula for calculating volume of cylinder. So volume of cylinder of cylinder equals to pi r square h. Okay. Now, the volume is this. So let's incorporate this. Let's input that. So volume is pi over 3 times 3,136 equals to pi times the radius. We need to get the radius of this cylinder. So it's going to be half of the diameter. Okay, so D equals to 2R. Okay, so that means R will be D over 2. The diameter, that's 28 over 2. And that's what? 14 centimeters. So the radius is 14 centimeters. All right. So now can we input that? We have 14 square times and the height. So that is what we are looking for. Times height. Okay. So now let me begin with this. Divide both sides by pi. So this cancels this. So this one has gone. All right. Okay. Now you divide both sides by 14 square because I want to isolate this h. So I will have 3,136 over 3. So since I'm dividing both sides by 14 square, so that's going to be times 14 square. Also h. I hope you get that. All right. So now this h is 3,136 over 3 times 196. Okay, so what do you have as your answer? Can you compute that and drop your answer in the comment section? All right, so 3,136, okay, now divided by what we have there, that's 3 times 196. So can we drop our answer there? Let's see what we have. 196. Okay. Okay, so this gives me 3,136 over 588. So h will now be 3,136 divided by 55. So that is 5.3. And that is going to be in centimeter. Okay. So the height of the cylinder, so it's going to be in this one. So this is the answer to that problem. Okay, so if you have any question, any observation based on what we just did now, can you drop that in the comment section? Let me see before we move on to the next step. Okay. All right. Okay, I've seen good number of us have dropped the answer. All right. Thank you, Divine. Okay. Yes, I can see Pio's answer. Okay, that's good. All right. Yes. Now, can we move on to the next question? Let's move on to the next question. All right. Okay, can we look at this next question? Let's see how to solve this. Now, in the figure, OQRS is a quadrant of a circle, center O. OXRT is a rectangle of dimension 16 centimeter by 12 centimeter. Calculate the radius of the circle, area of the shaded portion, correct to 3 significant figure. Now, how do we answer this question? The first thing, we have to find the radius of the circle. So I must know what a radius of a circle is. A radius of a circle is a straight line that joins the center of the circle with any part of the circumference, okay, of that circle, or is the shortest distance between the center of the circle, the middle of the circle, and any part of the circumference of that circle. All right. So now OQ is a radius, OS is a radius. Now OR is also a radius. All right, so now let me join this. Okay, so OR is also a radius. Now, see, this is a right angle, this is also right angle, because this is a rectangle. All right, so now what I want to get is the radius. So I want to get OR. So how do we get that? So I'm going to consider this triangle. I will say in triangle, consider this triangle ROT. Triangle ROT here. This is the two sides and this is the hypotenuse. So we write the hypotenuse, which is OR square, equals to the addition of the two sides, the square of the two sides. So we have OT square plus TR square. Okay, so we have OR square equals to, now OT, that is the length, that's 16 centimeters. So you can put it down. We have 16 square plus, now TR, what is TR? TR is 12, so we have 12 square. Okay, so now we have OR square. Now, so can we do that? What is 16 square? So 16 square is what? So we have 256 plus 144. So you can add together. So when you add together, what do you have? You have 400. Okay, so we have OR equals to square root of 400. And that gives you what? That gives you 20 centimeter. All right, so the radius of this circle is 20 centimeter. All right, I hope you understand that. So we have done the first part of the question, 20 centimeter. Now, what is the second part? Now, you have to find the area of the shaded portion, correct to 3 significant figure. Now, let's look at it. Now, look at the figure. Now, if I want to get the shaded region here, out of this quadrant, the whole of this, I will just take away the triangle, a rectangle, sorry. So once I remove this rectangle from it, I'll be left with the shaded region. So that means area of the quadrant minus area of rectangle gives us area of the shaded portion. I hope you understand that. All right. So now, what is a quadrant? A quadrant is 1/4 of area of a circle. A quadrant is 1/4 of area of a circle. All right. So now we have this area of everything. So let's start with this area of shaded portion. now gives us area of the quadrant. That is 1/4 of area of a circle. And area of a circle is pi r squared. Okay. So now minus area of the rectangle. That is what? Length times breadth. Okay. So now let us plug in the value so that we get the area. So we have this as 1/4 times now 3.14, okay, times what is the radius? The radius is 20. So we have 20 squared. Okay, minus the length. The length is 16. So that's 16 times now the breadth is 12. So that's what we have. So here we have 1/4 times 3.14, which is the pi, times, now when you square this, you have 400. Okay, minus 16 times 12. What do you have for that? Okay, so you have 192. You have 192. That's what we have. Okay, so now 4 goes here 1. 4 goes here is 100. Okay, so now you use 100 to multiply this. So all you just need to do is just to move the point twice. So that gives you 314 minus 192. So when you subtract, what do you have? You have 122. The unit is going to be in centimeter square. Now, the question asks you to correct so 3 significant figure. Of course, now that is what we have, 3 significant figure. Okay, so I hope you all understand that. So the answer to this is 122 centimeters square. So that's the answer. All right, so any question, any observation based on what we have done? All right, so if you have any question, you can drop that in the comment section. Don't forget, if you are joining this platform for the first time, ensure you subscribe to this channel if you love what you are doing. And don't forget to tap the like button. Everyone should do that. All right, okay. Any observation, any question based on what we have just done? Any question? All right, so if you don't have any question, can we proceed to the next thing for today? Okay, let's take the next one. Okay, yes, this is another interesting question. I want every one of you to pay attention to this question, and let's see how we're going to solve this problem. All right. Now, the question says an open rectangular tank is made of a steel plate of area 1,440 centimeters square. Its length is twice its breadth. If the depth of the tank is 4 centimeters less than the breadth, find the length, the depth, and the capacity of the tank in liters. So how do we go about this? Now, the first thing is to understand what the question is talking about. We have a plain sheet, metal sheet, which area is 1,440 centimeters square. Okay, its use is bent to form a tank. Okay, the tank is like this. Okay, just like a cuboid. Now, the tank is such that the length is twice the breadth. So if the breadth is b, so the length will be 2 times the breadth. And the depth, which is the height, h is the breadth minus 4, because it's less than the breadth by 4. Okay. All right, so that's what the question is talking about. So we want to get the length, the depth, and the capacity of the tank. Okay, so now with this, we can say let the breadth be equals to b. So if the breadth is b, that means length will be what? 2b, because it's twice the breadth, okay? Twice its breadth. And the height is also the depth, okay? That is what? That is going to be b minus 4. Now, because it's less by 4 centimeters. All right, so now, how do we get the length now? So now let us use the formula for finding area of a rectangular cuboid, okay? A rectangular cuboid. So now, so how do we do that? We have area equals to LB plus LH and plus BH. Now, 2 of this. Okay, so now this is the formula for calculating the total area of a cuboid that is open. Don't forget, the rectangular tank is open. So since it is open, so we are going to have just only one length by breadth. Okay, so and that is the base of the tank. Okay, so can we input these values here? So now let us input. We already have the area of the tank to be 1,440. So 1,440 is the area. The length is 2b. We have 2b times b plus 2 open bracket 2b, which is the length, times the height. What's the height? We have b minus 4. Okay, plus the breadth times the height, b minus 4. Okay, so that's what we have there. Okay, let's tidy up things. So we have 440 equals to 2b squared. Okay, plus 2. Now let's open the bracket here. Now 2b times b, we have 2b squared. 2b times negative 4, we have negative 8b. All right, so let's open this as well. B times b, we have plus b squared. B times negative 4, That's negative 4b. Okay, so now what I want to do now, let me divide through by 2. So I divide this by 2, this by 2, and this by 2. Just simplify. So now, once I divide this by 2, I have 720. Okay, so now here, I divide this by 2, I have b squared. Divide this by 2, so it clears that away. So that will be plus. Now 2 has gone. This has gone. This has gone. All right, so we are left with this. So now look at this. We have 2b squared and another b squared, making how many b squared? So we have 3b squared. Now when you join this and this together, what does it give you? We have negative 12b. Okay. Now can we tidy up this? So we have 720 equals to 4b squared minus 12b. Okay, so we can divide through by 4. So when you divide this by 4, you have 180, okay, equals to b squared minus 3b. Okay, so that's what you have. So let's transpose this. So we have b squared minus 3b minus 180 equals to 0. Okay, so the next thing is to solve this quadratic equation. Now, how do we solve this? So we have b squared minus 3b minus 180 equals to 0. Okay, so now you look for the sum and product. Now the sum is the coefficient of b, that's negative 3. And the product is what? Negative 180. So we need two numbers such that when multiplied together, you have negative 180. And then when added together, you have negative 3. What are the two numbers? Can you drop that in the comment section? Let's see. Okay, so we have negative 15 and 12. So this is what you're going to have if you do it correctly. So when you multiply this together, you have this. When this is added together, you have this. So now what is changing here is our negative 3b. So we turn it to negative 15b and plus 12b. That gives us negative 3b. All right. So now this equation turns to b squared negative 15b plus 12b negative 180 equals to 0. All right, now let's look at the first pair. You find the GCD. So what's the GCD of these two terms? So we have p. So when you divide this by b, you have p minus 15. Now here, the GCD here is 12, so plus 12. So when you divide 12b by 12, you have b. And when you divide negative 180 by 12, you have negative 15. That gives you 0. Okay. Now you can factor out b minus 15. So can we do that? So we have b minus 15. All right, so we are left with this. So we have b plus 12 equals to 0. So now we have two entities now multiplying each other to have 0, you know. So it's either this is 0 or the second is 0. So we have b minus 15 is 0 or b plus 12 is 0. So let's transpose negative 15. So we have b is 15 or b is negative 12. All right. Now don't forget we said b is the breadth. So the breadth cannot be a negative number. So that means b is not negative 12. Therefore, b is 15 centimeters. So that's going to be the breadth. So the breadth is 15 centimeters. So we have this to be 15 centimeters. Okay. Now, the question asks us to find the length. So what is going to be the length of the tank? The length of the tank will be 2 times 15. So Roman numeral 1, length equals to 2 times 15. And that gives us 30 centimeters. Okay. Now also the depth. The depth is b minus 4. That is 15 minus 4. That gives you 11 centimeters. Okay. All right. So now let's look at the third one. Now the third one, you want to get the capacity of the tank in liters. So how do you go about this? Now volume equals to length times breadth times height. So this is going to give you the volume of the tank. All right, so now can we input? So we have the length is what? 30 times, what is the breadth? We have gotten the breadth as 15 times the height, 11. So can you tell me what the answer is going to be? So if you know the answer, can you drop that in the comment section? Let's see. Okay, quickly compute that and tell me what the answer is. So 30 times 15 times 11. Okay, so what do you have? That should be 450 times 11. So what are you going to have for that? When you multiply that by 11, anybody with an answer? So that's 450 times so now the answer we're supposed to have is 4,950 centimeter cube. So that's what we're supposed to have. Okay. I hope we all drop that. Okay. So now don't forget we are not ending here because the question says you should find the capacity in liters. So this must be converted to liters. So now how many centimeter cube make 1 liter? So we have 1,000 centimeter cube is equals to 1 liter. Okay, so if you know this, so what is going to be the value of this in liters? Can you drop your answer as well in the comment section? Let's see. What do you have? So since 1 liters is equivalent to 1,000 centimeter cube. So what's going to be the liter? The value of this, the capacity of the tank in liters. All right, now let me check. So I hope we all have the correct answer. Okay, I can see Shutola. Okay, dropped an answer. Okay, Divine, I can see yours. That's 4.950 liters. Okay, another person. Okay, Riscott, 4.950. Okay, good. Good. All right, so we are all doing fine. So now what we just need to do is just to divide this by 1,000. Just move the point 3 times. Okay, so that is going to give us 4.950 liters. Okay, so it shows we are all doing fine. All right, so I can correct this now to the nearest whole number. So to the nearest whole number now is going to be 5 liters. 5 liters. Nearest whole number. So I want to believe you all understand this, and there's no question based on what I just explained. All right, so I want to appreciate every one of you that started from the beginning of the class down to the end of the class. I hope you guys have learned 1 or 2 things. All right, okay, so now I want to encourage you, make sure you search for questions, similar questions under mensuration. Try and lay your hands on it. The best way to know mathematics is just by solving. Okay, so if you have any question based on mensuration that we're working on, so in the next class you can always post that in the comment section. I will attend to all our questions. And also don't forget, if today is your first time, I welcome you especially. Ensure that you click on the subscription button before you leave. And I want every one of you to tap the like button before we go. And don't forget to share this video with your friends. Let a lot of people know about this class. Thank you very much. We are going to be ending the class now. So you guys will have a wonderful night. Okay. Bye-bye.